Ready? Today we will learn the payable basic setup steps. That means in Oracle Payable standard setup steps. So with these setup steps, we can run payable in standard functionality. So these setups are mandatory. If you check in the required setup steps list, you will find these standard required setup steps. The first one, to create, there are two parts in payables. One is invoice workbench, another payments. So invoice and payments. To create invoice, we need to do some setup steps. For payables also, we need to do some setup steps. So today, overview point of view, I'm going to list out the standard payable setup steps along with the navigations. The first setup, we need to have a supplier and supplier site. The navigation is supplier's entry. Here is one point. The supplier we can also create it from purchasing responsibility. We can also create supplier from purchasing responsibility. The functionality of creating supplier is also available in purchasing responsibility. Let me go to the purchasing responsibility. So here if you see, supply base and suppliers is the responsibility, and the navigation to create suppliers from purchasing responsibility. Let us go to payables. That's the first setup step. The next one, which is very first setup in payables, that is in financial options. The navigation is setup option, financial options. In this financial options, we have some mandatory fields in accounting tab, also in supplier purchasing, that is inventory organization. This inventory organization is coming from the setup of inventory organization parameters. That means it is a SCM related setup steps, that is a inventory organization. This name is coming in the list from inventory organization. Once inventory organization created, you will get this name in the list. Next, in human resource tab, we have expense reimbursement address. This is a mandatory field, and employee number. This employee number is a part of multi-org setup. So we need to concentrate more on accounting tab and supply purchasing. Once you complete financial options, the next step is payable system setup. In the payable system setup, we have some setups, that is for supplier numbering. We can select here automatic or manual, and invoice match option, either two-way or three-way, that is match with purchase order and receipt. And the payment, whatever setup here we will see, will be defaulted in supplier creation. Next setup is payable options. Here we have couple of tabs: accounting option, currency, tax reporting, invoice approval, matching, expense report, payment, and also withholding tax. So some of the setups are very important in this. So basically payable options are very important because it's like a backbone setup. So with this setup, you can create invoices. That means this setup is reflecting in invoice creation and payment also. Some of these setups are optional, some of these setups are mandatory. Next, these three options, financial options, payable system setup, and payable options are very important. Apart from this, we need to open a payable period, that is in, let's go see in the navigation point of view. Let us go here in accounting, control payable periods. Remember, the period has to open the current period. The same period also open in the GL. If GL period is closed and payable period is open, still you will get the error while entering the transactions. Next, apart from this, so with these setup steps, we can run the payable. You need to remember a point. To create invoice, we need to have supplier. To create any payment, we need to create invoice. There are some more setups which is we can call optional setup, like a calendar, special calendar. This is to create the recurring invoice. Okay, and for expense report, we need to do the setup in payable options. Let me show you. In the payable options, expense report, here we need to do the setup as well as to assign the template that we have to create in the setup invoices expense report template. So this is mandatory setup in case of expense report. So these are all the basic setup steps for the payables. So we can, if you do these setups, we can at least run payables. Sometimes in the interviews also they will ask you what are all the basic setup steps for the payables. For more setups, for more application setups, we will again meet. Thank you.